The galaxy thought humans were a joke. Clumsy, chaotic, always laughing even when holding a weapon. To the Galactic Council, we were background noise, too primitive to matter, too disorganized to win. So when the Tarvath Empire landed on Echo 7, they didn't even call it a war. They called it a demonstration. Thousands of armored soldiers marched in perfect formation, their weapons glowing with plasma. Their commanders smirked, certain they would crush the colony before dinner. And then it happened. One sound tore through the battlefield. Not plasma, not lasers, but a single sharp bang. An officer dropped dead instantly. No energy reading, no plasma trail, no signature their scanners could trace. Just a hole, a perfect hole. The Tarvath froze, confused. Another bang. Another commander fell. Panic spread. Their flawless formation broke. The invincible empire stumbled, hunting shadows. Because somewhere, unseen and patient, a human was watching them through a scope. Not a squad, not a fleet, just one man, one sniper. And before the day ended, the most feared army in the galaxy would do something they had never done in their history. Run. The Galactic Council had watched humans for decades with the detached curiosity of a biologist poking at insects. Humans stumbled when they marched. Their machines rattled with imperfections. Their weapons spat tiny lumps of metal instead of elegant lances of plasma. And worst of all, they laughed in the middle of combat drills, breaking formation, slapping each other on the back as if war were a game. To the disciplined militaries of the galaxy, it was an insult. The Tarvath Empire, prideful conquerors of 5-star systems, were especially vocal. Commanders Zor sneered during every briefing. They waste energy on noise and chaos. These bullets of theirs are chemical toys. A single Tarvath company could erase an entire human regiment before they even lined up properly. And so, when the Tarvath prepared their ceremonial invasion of Echo 7, the Council barely blinked. It was already decided. Humans would fold, just like every primitive race before them. The Tarvath landed in gleaming formations, exoskeletal armor catching the sun, plasma rifles humming. It was theater as much as war. Buildings of steel and glass stood quiet. The humans did not charge. The streets were empty. Zer felt a smug twist at the corner of his mouth. Pathetic, they hide before the fight even begins. Then a sound cracked across the plain. Not the rising whine of plasma, not the shriek of a drone. A sharp, singular bang. A Tarvath officer collapsed mid-step, a neat hole through his skull. His body hit the ground before his men even understood what had happened. Report. Zor barked. Sensor scanned. Nothing. No plasma discharge. No energy distortion. No heat bloom. Just silence. And then another bang. Another soldier fell. Panic began to ripple through the ranks. Small at first, then growing as confusion spread. High above them, hidden among Echo 7's jagged rocks, a single human exhaled slowly behind the scope. Master Gunnery Sergeant Travis Malister whispered to his spotter, "Told you they'd walk in straight lines?" The Tarvath had trained for plasma resistance, for energy weapons, for enemies who roared before they charged. They had never trained for this. Invisible death. The human sniper adjusted his scope, finger resting with patient weight on the trigger. Each time he fired, another alien officer collapsed. He didn't shoot randomly, only leaders, the ones barking orders, the ones whose posture screamed authority. It was psychological warfare, disguised as precision. "Where is it coming from?" a Tarvath lieutenant shouted. Their helmets scrambled for signatures, recalibrated to detect kinetic impacts. But the rounds were too small, too fast. To their machines, the battlefield was clean. "Impossible," Zor hissed. "One primitive weapon cannot." Another officer dropped mid-sentence. Travis smirked. "They don't even zigzag," he muttered. His spotter, Corporal Harris, chuckled. $20, says the next one forgets to duck. And then chaos. Formations dissolved. Warriors broke cover, searching frantically. Some fired plasma wildly into empty hills. Others shouted contradictory commands. Their gleaming armor, symbols of invincibility, suddenly felt like painted targets. Zur clenched his fists. This was not war. This was humiliation. His army, undefeated in centuries, was being dismantled by a ghost. Mal Lister, calm as stone, shifted position after every shot. A phantom, a whisper, a predator hidden in the dust. His voice cracked through the Tarvath's open comms, light and mocking. Y'all sure you don't want to surrender? Hate to waste more bullets. It wasn't just the killing. It was the laughter. The casual tone of a man who treated their elite army like pests in his backyard. Fear bled into Tarvath discipline, and fear was something they had never been trained to face. Desperate, Zor deployed drones. A swarm of hovering orbs fanned across the battlefield, sensors tuned to every vibration. Mal Lister's shot the first one out of the sky with a single crack, then the second, then the third. Cute toys, his voice hummed over the comms, but they buzzed too loud. Zor's jaw tightened. "Advance!" he roared. His remaining troops moved cautious, spreading wide, their usual discipline now ragged with unease. Then came the explosion. Not a rifle shot, a grenade. Dust and fire tore through their cover. Warriors scrambled into the open. That was a trap. Mal Lister had herded them for an hour, corralled them into clusters, and now flushed them out like frightened animals. Shots rang again. Precise. Cold. Every alien who ran found the same invisible sting. One soldier broke completely, throwing down his rifle and bolting. A single shot caught him mid-stride. Panic spread like wildfire. The invincible Tarvath, conquerors of empires, were scattering under the gaze of one unseen man. "Sir," hissed Talvek, Zor's junior officer, "we must fall back. This is—" Silence. Zor barked, though his own hands trembled. And then came their last hope, the Omega-class battlesuit. A 7-foot exoskeleton slammed onto the field, its reinforced plating gleaming, servos whirring like thunder. A warrior inside growled, "I will find him." Zor exhaled with relief. The Omega was unstoppable. No single soldier could crack it. For the first time, Mal Lister's voice was quiet, almost thoughtful. "Well," he said, "guess I'll have to get creative." A single shot echoed. The Omega took 2 steps forward and then collapsed with a hollow crash. The battlefield froze. "How?" Talvek whispered, horror in his eyes. Mal Lister chuckled, low and satisfied. "Turns out y'all put a cooling vent under the chin. Bad design choice." For the first time in Tarvath history, the order was given, retreat. Drop ships screeched to the ground, desperate to evacuate what was left of the proud invasion force. Warriors scrambled aboard, tripping over each other, abandoning equipment. The Omega's ruined carcass lay as a monument to their shame. Zor's golden eyes burned with fury as he withdrew. He could still hear the human's voice crackling through the comms, casual as ever. "Y'all come back soon now. I'll be waiting." Back in orbit, silence gripped the War Council. An entire company, annihilated by one man with rifle. The Emperor himself demanded explanation. Zur could not meet his gaze. He is not ordinary. He turns the battlefield itself into a weapon. We cannot fight him. The chamber was hushed. The words were unthinkable. The Tarvath could not fight him. "Then what do you recommend?" the Emperor asked, voice low. Zur swallowed hard, shame boiling in his veins. "We do not fight humans again." The declaration shook the very pillars of their empire. But outside the empire, the galaxy laughed and feared. Across mercenary dens, whispers spread. The phantom of Echo 7, the unseen death. Among allies, respect for Earthsword. Among enemies, doubt began to fester. And on Echo 7 itself, in a quiet colonial bar, Travis Mal Lister sat nursing a beer. Marines crowded around him, grinning at news reports. "They're saying you single-handedly stopped the Empire," Harris smirked. Travis shrugged. "I just pulled the trigger. They're the ones who kept lining up." Laughter rolled through the bar. But behind it was something heavier, a legend being born. Because from that day on, across the stars, the Tarvath Empire carried a scar they could never erase. And the Galactic Council, once so smug, now spoke with hushed tones about the one truth they had all learned too late. Humans might look clumsy. They might laugh too much. They might fumble with their weapons. But when a human sniper takes the field, the galaxy bleeds.